And so that was also another recommendation I found for myself, which was, you know, if you listen to the music of Braveheart and suddenly you're inspired because you're thinking about William Wallace, it's not so important. It's not so helpful when you got to count the combinatorics of a certain spot about bluff catching. You know, you'll be more like freedom and then click call because of that, rather than being like, oh, this seems a very logical call to make. King 5 off is my favourite 3-betting hand. That and aces. So we're going to 3-bet it. It's quite small, but to be honest, I would like to 3-bet aces this sizing because I feel like it's a bit more exciting. Now, monotone board, that's pretty bad for our 3-betting range. We don't have that many. We don't have any suited hands really, other than. So we really should not 3-bet this because he has all the flushes. And I mean, why would we 3-bet this hand anyway? I don't think I mean, now the turn we could try and go for a little block. We have queens, maybe, with a heart. And we do maybe get some value from like a 9x or an 8x or just a jack 10. And now I think we have a fairly easy check fold. Hopefully just checks back a 10 or a 9 or an 8. Don't see too much room to bet. Ace 5, okay. Okay, we could definitely ISO some to probe or not. Lovely ball actually. That is definitely donkable. Yeah, why not? We'll go for it. Lots of 1-card clubs in his range, so we'll go for another bet on the turn. It's actually kind of good, kind of bad. I'm not so sure. I think a lot of his overpairs would shove. We don't really have, honestly. We don't have that much equity with his hand. Maybe in theory you'd be like, well, we should probably barrel with a club or something. But I think actually with barreling without a club kind of makes it easier because like we don't want to bet fold there with a club and maybe flatted aces or something or a set. But it's easy to bet fold, I think, with just a gut shot there. And like, what's the other opportunity? Check fold. Seems a bit sad against a lot of his combos. And we didn't have a diamond. Did we have a diamond? We didn't have a diamond. Hearts, sorry. We didn't have hearts. We had a diamond, but we didn't have 2 hearts, which would have, or 1 heart, which would have been bad. We made a flush, which we didn't need, but we'll take it anyway. Top pair was good enough. It's a 2x, so that is a
bastard
of a spin. He's had a buy-in. We'll give a call of ace 8. I'm yawning a little bit. Apologies. Ooh, and ace king. Hit quite a few bigger hands recently, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, they're all, let's say, fairly typical of how we would play. And it's that concept of reciprocality where money only changes hands when you do something different than your opponent would. And so in those situations, I mean, we'd probably limp ace king, but I mean, we're always getting in ace king, ace 8 pre-flop, so money doesn't really change hand. We'll give ace 6 a c-bet. Yeah, I'm just going to min c-bet this board. Probably some room to, probably not with this hand size up. I think betting min with range is probably what you want to do. The boy Nicky's trying to become a man, but it's becoming difficult. Why, Nicky, expand on that, please. Is this the mental game part of this session? We're going for that's mental part.
That's mental.
Tell us, Nicky. The boy Nicky, one of the best spin and go regs out there. If you'd like some coaching with the boy Nicky, why not apply to the development wing below by pressing one of the buttons? Seamless segue there. We're going to shove 5-4 suited. Okay. 42%. That's 50%. That's 86%. That's 100%. We'll take it. We will take it. We're going to limp 5-4 off. Monitoring boards, always a really interesting spot to be studying, which we did a little bit of work earlier today. You can bet that you can check this. I'm going to start with check. Don't really know. And now I think we have a pretty easy bluff catcher. It doesn't make sense to bet this, really. We don't have to deny equity or anything. So let's just start with a check. And then, yeah, I mean, we made it straight, which is pretty relevant. But we're just going to go for a min bet with our hands. Get value from a 4x or 3x, but maybe also some 2 pair or something. Okay. Sensible fold, I guess. Jack King, 7 BBs, we're all in. We're shoving for 6.8. I guess in theory you could also do like a 1/3 or something. Like there's some of the solves you get this weird like half pot or even 2/3 or something ISO sizings, but it's whatever. We jam Jack 2, good call with Queen 5. Looking at a Jack. All okay. There's Germany. If there's if you've been watching for a while and you enjoy it and you would like to follow, you would be doing the channel a favour, because we have a little noise prepared for 4,000 followers, and I'm a bit worried we're gonna pass it on a different stream on this channel and they won't have the noise prepared, so on your heads be it. Thank you to all our followers though. Bim bim bim. We're going to min raise Queen 7. You probably don't want to fold Queen 7. Although it's close. Queen 6 off, I'd fold. Queen 7, I would min raise. 10-6 suited, I'll fold. Oh my days, what am I 5 betting? Sinead, what is your proportion to playing and taking the breaks? Like, how long do you play? Do you need a break playing spins? Sinead, it depends if you mean like in a session on one day, or if you mean over a longer term period. I think both of those are interesting questions to ask, so I'll just answer both and imagine you ask both. If you're talking about, let's say, in a single session on a day, I think typically you want to make sure you're taking at least some breaks. I would suggest for the majority of people, I mean, everyone's different, of course, but the majority of people, I would suggest taking a break at least like once every 90 minutes or so, even if it's just 5 minutes to grab a quick drink and quick refresh. I think in terms of your life balance, it's really sensible to, like, if you can, think about like when you used to go to school or whatever, where we would you know, have lessons for an hour and then have a 5-minute break, and an hour and 5-minute break, or 15-minute break or something. And I think that wasn't just random, that was probably scientifically chosen because it worked well for the majority of people. And so for the majority of people, something similar works well for, I think, as a grind routine. I think for some people they can grind longer, for some people they can't grind as long and they need maybe a break every 45 minutes. That's okay, nothing wrong with that, you know. But finding out what works well for you is obviously something you want to put some time towards. When we're talking about breaks over a longer period, let's say over sort of weeks and months, that again is very, very important that you, I think, in my opinion, schedule in days off. So it's very easy just to think, well, I'll just play every day. What actually is very easy to do is to kind of schedule approx days off, and then you do something during the day, and then the evening comes and you're like, well, I might just grind a little bit because I'm free. And if you end up grinding every single day and you don't have a day off, I think that's can be very challenging to try and get stuck in some of those mental game ruts or whatever that are sometimes quite damaging to parts of your game. So scheduling days in off where you can, and then when you have those days off, try not to just fill that day with time on the computer, where you're like, well, I've got a day off, but I just grind Fortnite or something, or we are running into it today. Where you just, you know, endlessly grind whatever, where it's you know, I would suggest on your day, like, go out, go enjoy some nature, go to a cafe, whatever. Like, it would be my advice to myself as well when I was younger, where like I didn't take enough time off, and also I was like a bit weird, like I don't know, I wouldn't, if I was young, like if I could talk to my younger self, I'd be like, just go out for a walk and go grab a coffee. Like I was like, it's a bit weird to go somewhere on your own. You know, I always thought I'd go with a friend, but I'd never want to go to a cafe on my own. Now I love doing that. You know what I mean? It's like my favourite. I go to the shops, so I'd have a little coffee, and it's brilliant. I really like it. But where was this in relation to? And your days off, right? So take some days off when you can. And I would suggest for most people, taking at least a day off a week or a few days off a month. And especially if you're doing well in poker, treating yourself to a nice holiday or relaxing time away, especially if you can combine it with some exercise or going out, things that aren't, exercise and nature, typically two things that lots of online poker grinders don't see much of sometimes, can also be quite nice for your balance. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you want anything more specific, because I'm happy to ramble about that topic for a while, no problem at all. You also asked the question about listening to music while playing. So yeah, I mean, you definitely have. I have tried both listening to music and not listening to music, and listening to different kinds of musics. One thing I would think that works quite well is to kind of try and figure out what kind of mood you're in, and then pick in appropriate music to help shift your mood into the direction you want it to be in, to try and play your A game. So if you're feeling, it's not perfect, but like if you're feeling a bit tired, to listen to some more energetic music, and if you're feeling a bit hyped, to listen to some calming music. One thing that's worked well, we got a 5x, ladies and gentlemen. That is time for I found that I have always struggled whilst listening to music with lyrics. So I think when you have people shouting in your ear, especially let's say aggressive lyrics, you know what I mean? If you listen to lots of rap or something, I think that can be quite difficult to grind with, where you have people, as I said, shouting in your ear, and I think that can be quite, we're just going to jam the 10-9 off. Try listening to some instrumentals rather than spoken lyrics music. So you can listen to, even if you listen to film music, it's just dragging your mind away. If you listen to some sort of like classical music or jazz or chill or something, some of the Twitch playlists, they're sort of lounge music, background music, stuff that like keeps you, let's say, calm and kind of, but not pulling your mind away from like, oh yeah, I remember this scene in that film that I watched, you know. And so that was also another recommendation I found for myself, which was, if you listen to the music of Braveheart and suddenly you're inspired because you're thinking about William Wallace, it's not so important. It's not so helpful when you got to count the combinatorics of a certain spot about bluff catching. You'll be more like freedom and then click cool because of that, rather than being like, oh, this seems a very logical call to make. Anyway, that was Texas Tom. I rambles away too long about a little question that didn't deserve such a long answer, but thank you for the questions, Sinead. We appreciate it. Powodzenia, kolego. Dziękuję. Jess says, way you were doing on Spain, which I'm going to translate to mean, what were you doing on Spain? And we went to Mallorca a week ago. Thank you for asking, Jenny. Thank you for remembering. And it was a lovely party. King 10 off, 9 bigs. I just shove this. Can't think of much of a reason to limp, like try and limp trap it. Suited stuff would definitely limp. And the King 6 off, I think we're going to just call. Good luck. Fair enough, ace jack. We'll hit a 6. We hit a king, can we dodge a 10? Yeah, we got a house. Nice. We won the 5x, ladies and gentlemen. Happy days.